Jackson's Alumni of the Year, Jessica Webb. Hi, Jessica.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Alumni of the Year. Is it alumni?
I think it is.
Alumna? Alum.
Alum of the Year.
Well, I was never good at Latin, but either way, you still were honored, and here's the award. Congratulations. Very cool.
Thank you. It was a bit of a surprise. Let's just say.
Really?
That.
They don't tell you in advance?
I had a conversation with Tim probably a couple weeks before, and I was sworn to secrecy, other than the individuals I was inviting. However, when Tim informed me, I was very shocked.
Well, it really is cool, the whole program, but the graduation, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal, and I'm alum from 2014, so it's changed a lot over the years. And I've seen it grow. I think the attendance was over 200 this year.
Wow.
So I think they're going to probably be growing out of the space. But yeah, as you see, there was 26 leadership graduates.
Wow. There they are. Was it at Found Church? Where was it?
Yeah, the Arbor Church.
Arbor Church. Yeah.
Yep.
There they are, and you probably recognize some of these folks have been on JTV.
Yes. Well, we all know Matt has from the chamber.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then I believe Alex is in there too from the chamber, which they had to graduate. But what a great class. Some of the projects that they did were just astounding projects. I didn't have the project piece when I was in the class, so I kind of love that whole piece that they added. But it's just a great group, and now the leadership alum have come together to create like a networking group for all the graduating alums, and 4 times a year we get together now and we kind of network and keep it going, because these are individuals that are passionate about Jackson and what's happening, and it's nice to stay connected.
Well, it's nice to see who has been a graduate of Leadership Jackson, or previously called the Leadership Academy, including our own Brandon Dowley and several other people on the JTV team. But really, you look at all ranks in all areas of the Jackson community, and you have graduates, including George Fatasic, President Emeritus at the hospital, and you, many others in banking.
Yes.
Tell us about your job. A little bit about your career path.
So I started out at 18, a very young age, in financial world.
18?
18 is when I started. So I kind of veered off a little bit when a couple years ago, and I worked at the chamber, and then I found my way back into working in the financial world. It's just where I belong. So I'm with Blue Ox Credit Union, and I'm the commercial manager, and I've worked myself into commercial, which I love, taking care of businesses and making sure businesses have what they need to financially succeed. So it's kind of a right fit, but I also get to be involved in the community and serve in the community, as it's just who I am. So I feel like I'm really helping when you connect to the business sector of it.
Yeah, your volunteerism, I think, is well known. One of the areas we've seen you recently has been with Gus Macker.
Yes. Yep. I helped bring Gus Macker to Jackson, which is kind of one of my defining moments of bringing that event here and helping getting it up and running and co-chairing with Kyle Lichty. I'm not a basketball player, but I loved what it did for our community and the celebration it brought to downtown Jackson. So that was 8 years of doing that. I stepped back just due to personal reasons. My health has taken a different turn. But I'm still very much involved with our local DDA and the Jackson Symphony Orchestra, and I just accepted to be secretary on the People for the Parks board, so I very much love going out and making sure that our parks stay clean. So still active, but kind of stepping back a little bit. As I said, I graduated in 2014, so I've just been going since then.
Well, you mentioned the projects that Leadership Jackson does.
Yes.
They group everyone in, I think, 4 different groups of people that volunteer. What are some of the things that they do in terms of project volunteerism?
So really they connect with the nonprofit to find out what the need is. What is something that the nonprofit may be missing, whether it's, building out a website. I know for the Jackson DDA, they did a program based on like how the DDA is using funds. So that could be used as a tool now to show like what the DDA is doing. It could be anything from hosting an event that maybe they needed something for fundraising. So they collaborate and create that event. So it's really whatever the nonprofit needs. So I know the chamber goes out and kind of has these conversations with the nonprofit to decide like what is it that a group can work on. But it also teaches the group how to work together and get over those different personalities and use the strengths that are brought to the table. So it's just a great way to show your leadership.
And it's not just a couple of classes. It's a pretty intense, I think, series that lasts 2 or 3 months.
Yes. Oh, it goes on. I believe they start in September and they graduate in April. So it kind of goes throughout the winter. And I know that they need to attend city council meetings and board meetings and meet with council people and representatives and do interviews. So it's an extensive program, but you get to learn about yourself and what type of leader you are, but also how do you take the next step and get involved in Jackson after that? What do you do with your leadership skills?
I think there are people that are assigned to go to Leadership Jackson by their companies, and they might not be that willing or think that they need it. What would you tell someone that might be considering going to the next Leadership Jackson class or being assigned
to
attend? Go?
Yeah, don't look at it as an assignee. That's my first thing is look at it as an opportunity to learn about yourself and the skills that you are going to hone in on. I always tell everyone you're a good leader when you understand what type of leader you are, and this class really does help with that. All the way back in 2014, I learned a lot about myself and how I could commit myself to the community, and not only just the community, but in the jobs that I've had. And then you learn how to work with other personalities and connect in a room because you're working with 26 different individuals if that's the size of your class. So really dive into it and look at it as an opportunity. If your employer actually nominates you to go and you didn't think about it, look at it as they look and they see something in you. It's not that you're missing something. They really see something in you. It's just to sharpen and refine those skills.
Well, I've noticed, I've served on a couple of boards with Jessica, and I've noticed that you've become a participant that can be critical, and you do speak up and challenge when you see something that might not seem right.
Yeah, and that's and after I graduated too, I actually took the class from the Nonprofit Network too on how to be a great board member and what your role is. So in my speech of accepting the award, I actually said, it started with small committees, which committees turned into board seats, and then board seats turned into actually running events. So there was a path, right? You learn more about yourself, but it really started with that Leadership Jackson course that I took to understand what tools I had to give. So, but yeah, it's important if you're going to be involved to speak up and speak up in a professional manner and be that voice. And that's the point is everyone's going to have a different view. Sometimes your view may not be seen, but that's what it's there for.
Well, I think you're the perfect choice to represent Leadership Jackson as the Alumni of the Year. And thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Bart.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
From Blue Ox and Leadership Jackson Alumni of the Year, Jessica Webb. Well, next